determination about whether it needs to stay in place or not. There is no question. We have a broken immigration system. There's more we need to do. We've been saying that from the first day the president took office. And anyone who wants to work on that, Democrats, Republicans, in place, how we can have an asylum processing system that works to do that. But what's happening right now is hostage funding.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to run out of funding. We're already running out of funding for key programs. So our issue here is let's move forward with the COVID funding. We're happy to have a discussion about the broken immigration system. We agree it's broken. Let's work together.
I think there's this assignment.
I'd say that's the real issue here, isn't it? I mean, anyone who's very concerned, they're tying it to the COVID funding.
Republicans out, you have Democrats who are necessary.
I understand that, but we're also happy to work with anyone on immigration reform and any concerns they have.
But it sounds like the answer is, if you've got concerns, you have to do something about it.
Well,
What happens on May 25th? What's
the
the
president looked forward to Bill his first day in office. It's not you do something about it, let's work together on it. You have different ideas, you want to talk about how to move this forward, let's do it. At the same time, what's happening is this COVID funding, which means people who are uninsured are not going to be able to get access to treatments, to vaccines. We're not going to be able to get the fourth booster shot to everybody. We're not going to be able to get the treatments for immunocompromised. So that's where we're at, and that's why it's important to move that funding forward. And yes, our system is broken. Let's address it. But this is a health authority, not an immigration authority.
So I can go live on my laptop, but I cannot Android phone. I wonder if there's any phone that you can go live. Apple, Google phone, maybe. Let me check it out.
Well, Peter, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. I'm aware of you're a doctor. I was aware of that today, until today. Okay, I'm not a doctor. Just making sure. I don't know. And you already see Plan on TV. There you go. Most states. But these determinations, remember the masking guidance is green, yellow, and red. We're currently in a green zone in Washington, D.C., so they're not recommending it. Many people can still wear a mask if they want to. Many people do, or wear them in meetings, or wear them at certain times where you're sitting close to people, or maybe you have an immunocompromised parent or friends, and so people make that decision. And this is based on health considerations and data that the CDC looks at about transmissibility as we've seen an increase in cases on airplanes.
And will the president support if a plane is leaving from an airport in a green zone, those people don't have to wear masks?
Again, Peter, there's been a difference from the beginning of people on an airplane and in federal transportation vehicles and situations than where they are in locations like here continue to be in Washington, D.C. at green zone. But what we asked for, I think it's important to remember, is a 2-week extension, or not asked for, we had announced, was a 2-week extension to look at the data and make recommendations based on the data and the science of whether it should be continued or not.
Okay, on a different topic, we have been reporting that at least 23 people apprehended at the southern border in 2021 are on the terror watch list. What do you guys think of this as somebody on a terror watch list and what we get into the United States undetected?
Well, I can't make an assessment of that, but what I can tell you is that your data you're saying here means the Border Patrol was doing their job. I mean, they apprehended people at the border.
2,000 illegal immigrants a day got away last month. Are you saying that you can say with certainty none of them on a terror watch list?
Here's what we're talking about, encounters we know, and suspected terrorists attempting to cross the southern border. They're very uncommon. We're talking about a few dozen annual encounters at most. These encounters represent significantly less than the 0.01% of total encounters per fiscal year in recent years. But I know these individuals, these 23 people, the Border Patrol, they stopped them. They prevented them from getting into the country. They're protecting our homeland and keeping us safe.
So the number is about holes in the southern border being exploited by people trying to come in and kill Americans.
It's grateful to the Border Patrol for doing their job and stopping these people and preventing them from getting into the country.
One additional question about something that happened a few months ago down at the border. We've been told that the mounted Border Patrol officers the president accused of whipping migrants have been notified they will not face criminal charges. So when is the president going to apologize to them?
There's a process and an investigation that's gone to the Department of Homeland Security. I don't have any update on that.
The president said that people whipping people, which would be a criminal offense, and they've been told they're not going to be criminally.
And there was an investigation into that, and I'll let the Department of Homeland Security announce any conclusion of that investigation.
You accuse these officers of brutal and inappropriate measures now that they've been told they will not be criminally charged. Will you apologize?
And neither there was an investigation into their behavior, so that investigation is playing out. Whenever it's going to be announced, the Department of Homeland Security will announce that, and then I'm sure we'll have a comment on it after that. Go ahead.
That's a mass issue as the debate is going on about next steps.
Yeah.
Is there anything to talk
All
about?
right, we're gonna wrap here, White House briefing. We just heard Jim Psaki covering, of course, a lot of questions about this mask mandate, a lot of confusion, particularly for travel today, but also finishing on what's happening in former acting United Director Ron Patel. It was that last question that was presented on those mounted officers who were accused of whipping the migrants in the country. Their photographs didn't look great, but everyone there said that was a misjudgment. Nonetheless, President Biden had harsh words for them, so did Jim Psaki and others. It appears they've been vindicated, at least from an investigation point of view, but no one at the White House has admitted as much. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's incredible how bad these people are at their job. You know, the president went to law school, the vice president went to law school, the secretary of Homeland Security went to law school. They know very well the due process rights that all American citizens, including many who wore the Patrol uniform, have. But yet they neglected their duty to the law, they neglected their duty to the Constitution, to go on the side of wokeness and to blame agents who were put in an impossible situation to try to help control an out-of-control border in the rail and thousands of images that the reporter who took that image said no one was struck physically. And here we are, they're still neglecting to praise the job that they did, and they don't want to tell them they said they were going to bring charges, that they were going to pay for what they did. And now the U.S. Attorney's Office apparently passed on criminal charges. There may still be an administrative case ongoing, but either way, they need to apologize to us. They need to apologize to the man wearing the uniform, and they need to apologize to American people for disregarding the due process rights of those individuals.
It's really tough because it would be a heartbreaking damage to believe an American and to think that the president of the United States would jump to the wrong conclusion and say it publicly to the degree that he did was heartbreaking. I want to ask you about Title 42. Apparently, more and more Democrats are very concerned about this issue. Jim Psaki again had difficulty answering this, giving us a straight answer on this. What are you hearing?
It's ridiculous. You know, they gave a start on the rescission of Title 42, which is the only tool, the smallest tool that they have in the tool shed as it relates to policies that allows the Border Patrol to expel people back into Mexico that are claiming asylum at the border. 1.7 million some people got expelled over the last period during the pandemic. That was a public health measure. It's in the law. It exists. It's existed since the 70s. It was included here to protect us from the pandemic. And yet they don't want, they gave everybody, all the smugglers a 6-week head start and say they're not going to do that anymore. Every chance they get to make a statement as it relates to policy on the southwest border or immigration enforcement, they step back. And this is no different. And in this case, they gave all of the would-be smugglers and all of the people who were coming in the pipeline a head start.
We're also seeing a resumption of migrants being taken place in some on charter planes, some on buses. I just don't understand how we control the situation. Now, of course, many of them iPhones, smartphones, and I guess the understanding is that they'll be time in the summer and they'll come back to the airport.
Chuck, I've been working for 33 years. I've never seen this kind of chaos at the border in my entire career. It's never been as busy at that border than it is right now. You have thousands of agents instead of patrolling the border. You have thousands of people coming and this administration has failed in their duty to protect us. The more chaos we have at that border, the more threat we're all under.
If they do say, okay, well, this is Title 42, we're already seeing, to your point, The record books have been shattered right now, absolutely shattered. We got to believe that the Minnesota involved in trying to protect our borders are exhausted. Other local agencies are trying to help. Very little federal assistance on that. And how high can it go?
Terrifically bad. You know, we're between 6 and 8 ounces every 24 hours now. The projections after California, without the bad, the city, they're going over 10, maybe 18,000 a day. The system is already overrun. The workforce is already overrun. They're distracted by taking care of these people instead of controlling the border. What does that mean? That means they're allocating 40 people with smuggled people up there, and then they're flying their jobs. They control the world across the border. And what you know, working with cocaine is not a hundred back.
Meanwhile, folks, that was facing criticism after continued flushing migrants to D.C. This as the federal government is continuing its own massive release of migrants at the Texas Fox's own Bill Logan was captured video earlier today. Bill.
CBP records that Fox News is obtained via a Freedom of Information Act request that show at least 23 known or suspected terrorists were being voted here last year. We'll show you what we're talking about. Everyone in this graphic right here, we're looking at our hit on the TSDD, that is the Terrorist Screening Database, compiled by the FBI. What you're seeing is a sector-by-sector breakdown of where these kids came across. 4 in San Diego sector, 4 in El Centro, 2 in Yuma, 2 in Tucson, 3 in El Paso, 4 in Del Rio, and 4 in the Rio Grande Valley sector. Again, totaling up to 23 in total. Keep in mind, those are only the ones they know about. You heard Peter talking about and got away. Well, we can pull up this on the American border. Here is exactly what these folks tell us. In the last 6 months alone, there have been more than 200,000 And what you're looking at right now is video of more mass releases of migrants here in Eagle Pass today. We shot this video earlier in the morning, busload after busload. We have just learned more than 500 illegal immigrants were released by the federal government at this NGO just today alone. Almost all of them single adults. This sort of thing happens every single day out here in Del Rio sector, as well as down in Brownsville, down in the Rio Grande Valley sector. And Charles, back out here live, what you just witnessed there, that is one of the reasons why Texas Governor Doug Abbott started shipping these buses to Washington, D.C. He says these local communities out here, very small communities, are sick of these mass releases. They can't handle it anymore. So he said that's why Texas is offering them buses to ship them right to the doorstep of the Biden administration at the U.S. Capitol. So back to you.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky said Russian forces have begun, quote, the Battle of Donbass. And we'll be speaking with retired General David Petraeus in just a moment. First, the Fox News' Jeff Paul, who's in Lviv with the very latest. Jeff.
Yeah, they're calling it the second phase of this war, and as folks in the east part of the country prepare for intensified fighting here in the west of the city of Lviv, many people waking up to the sound of air raid sirens after learning that Russian forces hit this city. Now, officials say so far they know multiple missiles hit within the city, just outside the city center, killing 7 people. These would make them the first wartime deaths in the city since the invasion started. Shortly after the strike, thick black smoke could be seen billowing from multiple points in the city. The military spokesperson in Lviv said 3 warehouses were hit. MSF was buildings were not being used by the military. The 4th strike hit this auto repair shop. I was spoke with one-on-one with the mayor here in Lviv shortly after the attack today. He made it clear this is an all-civilian city full of hundreds of thousands of refugees, but he said sadly this strike underscores a new reality.
We must be ready to new Russian attack, and together we must maximum protect our country. It is a very special moment in our life. We have only one country. We have only one land. I believe in our victory. Never give up. Only victory.
The mayor here in Lviv also saying that this highlights, unfortunately, that nowhere in this country is 100% safe at any time, in any place, something could happen against Russian forces.
No. There is a constant Ukraine new president in the east, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby just saying those shipments are starting to arrive. Fox News' projection has the very latest from the Pentagon. Great.
Great afternoon, Charles. The first four of those flights, according to a senior U.S. defense official, arrived yesterday. Flight number 5 is expected to arrive within the next 24 hours. This is this latest $100 million of weaponry that the U.S. is sending to the Ukrainian military. Officials here say Russia is moving forces into southern and eastern Ukraine for an expected offensive there, and that the Russians are still facing challenges. These appear to be chronic difficulties that the Russian military has had in terms of logistics and sustaining command and control, unit cohesion, operational maneuver, integration with air ground, all problems that they still suffer from. Now, last week, the U.S. announced that additional $800 million in additional security assistance that includes sharing more intelligence. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been imploring the West to offer more sophisticated and just more weapons. The Biden administration said this latest round will include more advanced equipment like artillery and armored personnel carriers, though no fighter jets and other equipment Ukraine is requesting. The senior U.S. defense official says Ukrainian troops will be trained in an eastern NATO country in the next few days on how to use the howitzers the American military is sending. The official says the U.S. is going to move quickly on that training. Now, on the other end of this invasion, the senior U.S. defense official says that because of American and European sanctions, that Russia's having a tough time resupplying its precision-guided munitions. That's because they're having trouble getting components for those weapons. Charles, back to you.
Thank you, Rick Jetson. So will Ukraine have the weapons it needs for the battle in the Donbass region? Former CIA director, retired four-star General David Petraeus is here to discuss. General, thank you so much for joining us. John Kirby just gave a fascinating press conference about an hour ago. He's always a straight shooter. And he repeated a couple of times that Russia is, quote, shaping. And I found that to be, as a not, for most folks who don't understand what this means and the magnitude of what's going to happen, can you explain that to us?
Well, really, it just comes down to preparing, Charles, and good to be with you. This could be a pivotal moment in the war in Ukraine as the Russians obviously gave up on the effort to seize Kyiv, topple the government, and replace President Zelensky with a pro-Russian figure. They lost the battles of Kyiv, of Chernihiv, and of Syria in the north, and the Ukrainians won. So the Russians have refocused in the area where they have made some gains, very hard fought, and they're going to reinforce that in the east and the southeast, and then presumably further down around the quaternary pole and those defenders incredibly resolute, really the element of Ukraine in many respects when that ultimately falls. And his discussion is shaping normally for us that would also include preparatory fires and include a variety of positioning, logistical assets, medical evacuation, resupply, ammunition caches, refueling assets, and so forth. And they're doing quite a bit of that, but they have struggled there, as Admiral Kirby noted, and I know it well from the 4 years in the past. They've struggled with the logistical aspects of this, as he rightfully noted, they struggled with so much else, including aircraft, including combined arms defense, where you use not just infantry, engineers, artillery, mortars, and so forth, all together, protected by air defense. All of these have been very, very challenging for them. It's partly because given the months that they've challenge is that we do not have the ammunition that they need in this eastern blockade. Their artillery shoots 152 millimeter howitzer ammunition. We shoot 155. That's why we're providing the howitzers, and then also tens of thousands of rounds to go with it, because their artillery won't go into it. Same with tanks, same with fighting vehicles. So anything we provide that would require a lot of spare parts, a lot of different ammunition, and so forth, will be challenging for them. And that's been an issue here. Same with planes. I mean, we can't give them F-16s, and we don't have MiG-29s. Now, what we are doing, and they're working very hard, is to get the Eastern European countries that have this equipment, have this ammunition, have those planes, to transfer them to the Ukrainians, which they can use right away, because they're very similar. But the Western European and U.S. arsenals just don't have those items either.
So yeah, we're 40,000 rounds for the 155 howitzers and some training, to train their trainers. The plans, it sounds like you're suggesting then that the mid-29s are still possibly in play.
Well, I don't know. I'm not part of that discussion. I wish that they could have just been quietly handed to the Ukrainian pilots at some airfield in eastern Poland, and no one would make a lot of big deal about it. Unfortunately, they did. Then they wanted to do it, in essence, launder it through the U.S. and get a guarantee that we provide F-16s, which we can't. All the ones coming off the assembly line are committed to another nation in the Indo-Pacific, which, after all, is still the priority, despite what is going on here and the way that we're focused very, very much on that.
I've got a minute to go, General. So a Ukrainian official says that this is now the active phase of the offensive. Of course, a lot of experts thought this would be a 1 week, maybe several day, invasion, quick victory, and this is a lot of folks in the West. Do we have a potential timeline right now, a new timeline?
He's in Moscow. It's Putin's watch or clock. He's watching his economy, his financial system, his business community, certainly the question is, how long is he going to allow this to go on? He's watching his 300,000 citizens and eventually stem personification of the equal hierarchy is a global provider. That's a challenge. It is a contest of wills to him. And certainly President Zelensky in Ukraine, whose forces have far exceeded certainly what the Russians thought they would do. He said that they thought this would be a few days or weeks. That was what Russia thought. And this has been a record where they have limitations of their forces and the extraordinary capability demonstrated by the Ukrainians.
Great point. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Arkansas.
If we're now seeing more spending and more migrant crossings, why is the White House ignoring the issues that have American glory? Jerry Baker has some thoughts on that, and he's coming up. About fear and free fight for free speech, and some of the mainstream media, it's like.
It's easy to think that all of the managers are pretty much the same, but official investments were clearly different.
Different how? You saw high commission investment products.
Yeah, Fisher was
Well, that's their
never Fisher.
Okay, then you probably sneak in some hidden in there too.
No, he's not sure if he was still do better, do better. That's like he was Fisher investments were clearly different.
Let's take a little test together. Which looks better? This or this? This or this? Seems clear to me. Saving cash beats spending it unwisely every time, which is why you'll love this offer from America's Best. Buy 2 pairs of glasses for just $69.95, and they'll throw in an eye exam for free. It's a savings of at least $50. That's not just a better deal, it's America's Best. Book an exam online today at americansbest.com.
United We Pledge has partnered with Balance of Nature to help ensure traditional American freedoms exist for us and for future generations. United We Pledge is raising money to build an American Village West campus that will house replicas of key historic buildings and realistic portrayals of the men and women who helped shape this nation. This village will provide educational experiences for youth and families. To raise funds and bring awareness to this project, world record holding endurance athlete Tom Jones is running 76 consecutive marathons from the original American Village in Alabama to the future home of the American Village West in Washington County, Utah. He will be powered by Balance of Nature fruits and veggies. Balance of Nature is proud to provide fruits and veggies in a Patriot Pack for a limited time to support this effort. A portion of the proceeds from each Patriot Pack will go directly to United We Pledge to help build this project. Use promo code VILLAGE to receive 35% off your first preferred order. Go to buypatriotpack.com to start your pledge to help preserve the freedoms we value.
Sean Penn on Special Report. The actor sits down with Robert O'Brien and Brett Baird to discuss his work in Ukraine and what needs to be done now. Don't miss the exclusive interview Tuesday.
My asthma felt anything but normal. It was time for a new normal with Nucala. Nucala reduces asthma attacks. It's a once-monthly add-on treatment for severe eosinophilic asthma, not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away for swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop steroids unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor about a parasitic infection. May cause headache, injection site reactions, back pain, and fatigue. Ask your asthma specialist about a new normal with Nucala.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one are recently diagnosed with any form of lung cancer or mesothelioma, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Your lung cancer or mesothelioma may have been a result of exposure to asbestos, and you may qualify for a cash award from the $30 million in trust funds set aside for lung cancer and mesothelioma victims and their families. Call right now.
Call 1-800-975-0602.
Don't waste your time and money at the chain store. They got the best yellow ones, red ones, Spanish parts, and dealer parts too. The website's so easy to use. The lowest prices and fastest delivery to all the cars your car will ever need. All the